Welcome back to another episode of Why It Works on What It Is. As you might have already seen in the thumbnail or title, today we're going to be discussing the Shorty Awards 2018 YouTuber of the Year. That's right, we're going to be talking about Jack's Films. Over his illustrious 11, now almost 12-year career on YouTube, Jack Douglas has managed to find an ever-increasing amount of ways to stay relevant, perhaps recently now more than ever. Jack's main channel, Jack's Films, currently houses an array of successful series, but the one that we'll be focusing in on for this episode is arguably his most successful and definitely his most produced, Yesterday I Asked You. Although it began on his side channel, Jack is a Nerd, Yesterday I Asked You quickly transitioned to his main, becoming a staple of Jack's Films. The series is now over 400 episodes deep, with each video consistently drawing in millions of views, and the concept even going on to spawn its own interactive book. Yesterday I Asked You, or YIAY, is a series that functions on Jack asking a question to his audience, essentially giving them an objective to create unique and funny answers for the chance at being featured in the next video. Jack will then take the best of these answers and create a video the following day, or week, or month that begins with his signature,
"Yesterday I asked you,"
and showcases the creativity and humor of his audience. As per norm here on Why It Works, the following analysis will be broken down into three portions: the audio and visual design, Jack's personality, and the effectiveness of the concept, all to try to explain why YIAY works. Since Jack puts out an average of 3 episodes of YIAY a week, the audio and visual elements of this series are fairly consistent and easy to recreate. The most consistent portion of YIAY is actually the intro I mentioned earlier. With its red, green, blue, and pink colors and clear white presentation of the featured question, this opening segment acts to prime the audience to expect an episode of YIAY, as well as establish a familiar color scheme and really begin the rhythm present in each episode. As I've mentioned quite a few times in the past, it's extremely helpful to create a repetitive structure to a series because it establishes an easily recognizable brand and format which is satisfying to our pattern-finding brains. Other consistent aspects of this series come in the form of the outro, which always features Jack asking a question for the next episode and referencing the previous episode by saying,
"Here's a clip, episode, here's a clip, this episode, here's a clip."
This small edit also helps generate success by drawing attention to the other episodes through a sort of mini cross-episode promotion. The last point I'll add to this idea of repetitive structure is the extremely catchy YIAY theme song that hasn't exactly been consistent throughout the entire series but has been a staple since around episode 63.
Leave your answers in the comments below. I'll pick my favorites in the next episode of YIAY.
And to support the claim about the catchiness of the song, I'm going to utilize a rather far-fetched example of a teen from Teens React to Jack's Films immediately recognizing the addictive elements of YIAY's design and ultimately singing along to the outro song.
I'll pick my favorites in the next episode of YIAY.
All of these repetitive elements have aided Jack in creating an established brand and series that's also quite easy to replicate. Since the objective Jack gives his audience changes each video, this visual component can change from simple screenshots of tweets or Facebook and YouTube comments to photos and videos created by his rather artistically gifted audience. One editing trick that Jack will occasionally implement on these comments is a sort of delayed reveal of the full answer, as seen here.
"I'm waiting till marriage to listen to music."
This visual trick is small yet effective as it enhances the delivery of the joke and as a result contributes to the quality of the video. This acts as a good segue into some of the other consistent edits which Jack adds when he reacts to the audience's answers. These can range from small visual effects,
Trash.
elaborate bits, or
Olympic Dance Dance Revolution.
even references to older episodes.
Nepal, of course! Aw, they love me over there in Nepal. I'm like royalty.
These edits typically make up the most complex visual and audio elements of each episode, and realistically are not even that hard to create. However, I don't bring attention to this point to disparage Jack, but instead to highlight that he's able to create humorous edits that emphasize his jokes in an easy and efficient manner, which is what allows the mass production of this series. Additionally, this lack of high-quality production and painstaking effort adds to the more personal, one-on-one feel of the videos. Building off that point, I'll transition into the last main idea for this section, which is a way that Jack frames each video. By constantly displaying his upper torso and head, Jack is able to make himself and his personality the other focal point of each episode, aside from the audience's answers. And this makes sense, as the series aims to combine the fanbase's humor with Jack's own humorous presentation of their answers. Another small note about this camera framing is that it sort of simulates having a conversation or a more genuine interaction with Jack, as the audience is looking directly at him. I don't think it's unreasonable to imagine that on some level of consciousness, this makes the audience feel slightly more connected with Jack, and more receptive of his enjoyable internet persona. And with that point, we have another opportunity for a seamless transition into the next section, which is Jack's personality. Now, before I delve into this section, I'm going to give a quick shout out to Woollyone, who did a video addressing the channel of Jack's films as a whole, called The Genius of Jack's Films. I'll put the link in the description, and I recommend checking it out for some different ideas on this topic and a bit more of an in-depth analysis on some of the overarching persona choices that have contributed to Jack's success and his ability to stay relevant. So, I'll start off this explanation by saying that over the course of his decade-long career, Jack has earned himself a position as a member of the vanguard of YouTube, especially within the YouTube memeing community. This point is extremely prevalent in Yesterday I Asked You, as it's become a series that sort of embodies Jack's innovative memeing capabilities. Not many YouTube series can lay claim to an entire fandom page dedicated to the intricate running jokes and different in-series references. These can range from jokes about Jack's newly married wife Erin leaving him, to mentionings of his large forehead, or simply the phrase "me be big boy." The sheer diversity of these references reflects the impact of Jack's personality, and acts as a testament to his ability to interweave these jokes into almost every episode of YIAY. Again, I'm going to quickly diverge from this point to suggest that everyone check out the channel Meme Insider and their video calculating the size of Jack's forehead. Meme Insider is an awesome and innovative project dissecting meme culture that I definitely recommend. Also, I'm actually going to use the presence of this video to emphasize another point about the effect of Jack's personality, which is the immense amount of fan content that's been generated because of his memeable antics and persona. Jack's absurd commitment to his jokes and constant sarcasm has turned him into a character that his audience is obsessed with making memes about. Referencing back to the Woollyone video, it's also this persona that's allowed him to become a figure capable of shamelessly plugging ads and merch.
This is because the third-party promotions have been memed by his viewers, just like any other theme on his channel. You will actually see people replying to Jack's tweets with the very promotions he uses in his videos on their own volition.
All of this seems to be underscored by the fact that Jack has moments within YIAY where he seems quite genuine. This point was addressed earlier to some extent by the explanation of how the shots are framed, but this genuineness is also created by Jack being truly amused by some of the interactions with his audience. Here are just a few examples of Jack cracking up about different YIAY answers.
Thanks, Dad. Bracelet.
Overall, Jack's amusing and memeable personality seems to fuel an enormous amount of genuine interaction. This audience involvement is a crucial part of the success of a YouTube series, as it generates more attention, channel growth, and a higher percentage of users interacting with ads, so financial success as well. This brings us to the final portion of the deconstruction, where I'll share some thoughts on the incredible effectiveness of the concept behind this series. To start things off, I want to call back to a point I continually emphasize in the audio and visual design section, which is that Jack has created an easy-to-replicate series. This fact not only helps him in terms of amount of work he needs to put in, but also acts as a big part of the effectiveness of this concept, as the repeatable format of YIAY has allowed Jack to rise above the problems created by the recent changes to the YouTube algorithm. The new algorithm favors content creators that consistently upload content. See examples such as everyone's favorite vloggers who are on that daily YouTube grind. Instead of succumbing to the more simple tactics of maintaining relevance and preferential recommendation from YouTube, Jack has pioneered an innovative and interesting concept that allows him to mass produce something that seems to have a bit more value, and also isn't preying off of a considerably younger audience. Some of Jack's contemporaries, who he was nominated amongst during the Shorty Awards, are figureheads of these easier-to-employ strategies for relevance. And although award shows are not necessarily the best indicators of success, I think that Jack's triumph over these other creators as YouTuber of the Year says something about the more genuine and interesting concepts that make up his channel. Another aspect briefly touched on in the personality section is a large level of interaction that the concept behind YIAY fosters. The entire premise operates on incentivizing his audience's interaction by offering the glory or occasional shame of being featured in an episode. In turn, Jack is able to maintain and grow an incredibly loyal fanbase with this replicable and proven to be successful concept. YIAY is also Jack's ticket to relevancy through trends. Since the concept allows him to churn out content on a regular basis, he's able to include references to all sorts of trending topics. This is often reflected in the clickbait-esque titles and thumbnails he employs, but they certainly do a much better job at reflecting the content of his videos than some more manipulative uses. YIAY's consistent inclusion of trending topic-related questions is just another way Jack is able to circumvent the YouTube algorithm and remain in the spotlight as a featured creator. The last main benefit of this concept that I'll touch on is that it acts as a way for Jack to test out different ideas and even develop mini-series within YIAY if his audience enjoys them. Some examples of this are the repeated in 4 words questions, the My Music Your Lyrics miniseries, and more recently the Fix Your series, which began with the YIAY episode Fixing Your Flags. In short, the concept behind Yesterday I Asked You is effective because of its consistent episode output, high level of audience interaction, and ability to act as a creative sandbox for Jack's ideas. Overall, this deconstruction of YIAY is only really scratching the surface of the creative masterpiece that is Jack's films. But I do think that it is some combination of the clean and easy to generate design, Jack's genuine and memeable personality, and ingenious concept that allow Yesterday I Asked You to work. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Why It Works on What It Is. Leave a comment if you thought we left anything out, or if you have a suggestion for a series or type of content you want us to analyze in the future. If you liked, subscribe, and follow our Instagram and Twitter, I promise we will never make 400 episodes of Why It Works. Thanks for watching, and me big boy. 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 Me big boy.